think I reckon this is it. Tell you something else. Let's get this thing on the hump.
Hello, Whit. Thank you for choosing the Rooster Show. This is Rooster Jones. How you doing? Cheerio. Today we have a very exceptional band. Oh, most definitely an exceptional band. We have the man, D.A. Sebastian of Kill Switch Click with us today. Uh, cheerio.
Hey, bud. Hey, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you brilliantly. How
Okay,
about
cool.
you?
Good. I'm good. I'm good.
Awesome, man. Welcome, DA, man. It's such an honor to have you.
Well, thank you.
And
Thank you.
yeah, I was grooving to you, man, back in '93 and all that good stuff in LA.
Right on,
I
right on.
I mean, I loved your music then, and I still do. I always listen to it. It's always on my playlist.
Thank you, man.
So I appreciate this time as
Yeah,
a fan, but also as just a fellow musician that just loves the right music. So
right on. All right.
right on. Pleasure to
Cool.
have you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for having
so
me.
yeah, man. You guys started what was it, 91?
Yeah, Kill Switch Click started in, I mean, I've been doing music since the early 80s, my first
What
punk rock band way back when. But Kill Switch Click, I started recording the music in 90 and then came up with the name and everything in 91. Got a drummer. I did all the music, the initial recordings, the demos myself, and actually got some airplay just as off of a cassette tape
huh,
up here in Seattle. They had, luckily, this was before the whole grunge thing hit, and there was a big movement as far as like new music and just a lot of stuff was going on. I moved to Seattle right in '89, and that was right
okay.
before all that stuff happened. And so when I released the demo cassette, there was a local station that had reformatted. They were kind of doing a KROQ kind of new formatting,
Yeah, yeah.
and they had a show called The Young and the Restless, and like literally a week after I sent them the tape, they were playing my stuff on commercial
Wow,
radio here in Seattle.
that's
So
amazing.
then I put an ad out, found Mike, who was my drummer, Mike Ditmore,
Huh,
and we started doing shows probably, yeah, I think it was middle of '91. You know, our first show was at an art gallery. called the Art Not Terminal. It was a old bus terminal that had been turned into an art gallery. And we literally, when we did that show, we didn't know it. That was our very first show, very, very first show. And the Seattle Times was there covering the gallery. So like right from the get-go, we were getting press. I mean, like our very first, I mean, how many bands like their very first show where they barely know their songs, and we're getting like the Seattle Times is there and writes a full piece about the gallery
Holy
opening
Moses.
and about us. So yeah, so it kind of led to there, and we added a backup singer, Yvette Avery. She was with us for a while, and I always wanted a female singer as backing, kind of like Dead
Yeah.
Can Dance, so I could
Oh
bounce
yeah.
vocals back and forth and play music and not always have
Yeah.
to sing. And so we had her for a while, but that didn't work out. And we got another gal and another gal and another gal. And eventually it just became me, uh, Paul Wynia, and Mike Ditmore.
Yeah.
And then Paul left, and then we got Jeremy Moss, who was our bass player from then on. But we went through a lot of lineup changes, but luckily Cleopatra Records backed us on all that.
Hmm.
And we were able to do a couple US tours and made a little dent in the industrial world. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Hey, let's talk a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
Were you raised in a musical background type of family?
Yeah. My mom, well, it goes way back, but when I was in fourth grade,
Because you intrigued
my,
me when you said punk. I love punk rock.
oh yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I
That's where
mean
I started.
definitely. So
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
gonna get to that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So go ahead.
When I was in fourth grade, my mom wanted me to play, in band, was
Yeah.
a thing. And my mom's boyfriend had this old trombone, and I didn't get to pick my instrument. I wanted to play drums. She's like,
Hmm.
"No, we got this instrument. You got to play the trombone." I'm like, "Oh, mom, come on." But that's what I did. I played the trombone, which was actually really good because it gave me breath control. So
Yeah.
later on, when I decided to sing, I had the breath control,
Okay.
which came from playing the trombone. But did trombone all through grade school into high school, and then switched to upright bass and electric bass, and decided when I was 16, going on 17, that I wanted to be a musician. And that's when it all started. Started a punk rock band. This is in San Bernardino, California.
Oh
And
yeah. I know.
that's, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I was Marina Valley for
Oh, there you go.
14 years.
Oh, yeah. So,
So yeah,
yeah. And
all
so
over.
we basically played a lot of shows down there. And then I moved back east for a little while, and got really heavy into industrial music.
Oh,
And
love
then
that
eventually ended
era.
up in Seattle. So that was in '89. So yeah.
That era of industrial was just so beautiful too. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
like
Yep.
because the clubs were just so hypnotic. It was just the music was so real.
Yeah.
It was so energetic. It was so yeah, catchy. Just it was
Yeah.
just you know, and
Definitely.
then
Definitely.
it was all just experimental too at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
You know, and it's tell me you being one of those people that kind of came up with your own sound. I
Right.
mean, how did that happen? How did that spark happen?
I don't know. I mean, my biggest
And
influences were
then we'll get back
probably,
to the punk part. I want to
yeah,
hear
yeah, yeah.
about
Oh,
that
that's
band
cool.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, no, yeah, no,
Bounce it back and forth.
that's all right. That's all right. Yeah, no, I think like, I don't even know when. I mean, I got into Front 242, Cabaret Voltaire
Of
really
course.
early, really
Yeah,
early.
definitely. Oh
And
yeah.
the thing back then was like in the 80s, you had a lot of punk bands that as they got better on their instruments, they would kind of branch off and do other things. And not always. I mean, I
No,
always have a soft spot for hardcore, especially, Southern California hardcore. That's just kind of what was around and was kind
love
of
it.
sparking me to do music in the first place.
Yeah.
But the thing about it was, I started hearing all these other bands. The whole new wave punk explosion and all that just changed music, and it's hard to tell people now how much of an impact that change had. I mean,
Mm.
for example, when I decided to cut my hair off, I was in 10th grade, 11th grade, and everybody had that same haircut. It was like the Bruce Jenner, Scott Baio, parted in the middle, feathered back, Kelso from that '70s show style haircut. That's what
Yeah.
everybody aspired to, all the guys.
Yeah.
And it was like, then all of a sudden we started seeing these skate punks, and there was very few, and you'd see guys who'd shave their head or get like a flat top. And so I thought, I'm doing that. And I told some of my friends, I said, dude, I'm getting a flat top. They're like, dude, we can't hang out with you if you get a flat top, man.
Oh,
That's so uncool.
duh.
So I went to this old barber shop. This guy
Funny.
he was called the Flat Top King, I guess. And I said, I want a flat top. And he says, are you sure? Do you know what a flat top is? And I said, yeah, I want a flat top haircut. So I got a flat top, went to school. And 2 days later, I got in all these fist fights with guys at school. And the
Wow.
captain of the wrestling team beat the shit out of me. Right. But well, it was bad, but not that bad. But then I found out a couple weeks later, he accidentally cut his fingers off in a lawnmower accident. So it was like, wow, karma, you know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
all worked out. But I mean,
Okay.
that's the kind of impact just from cutting your hair, you would literally, have to fight people. And that's how it was back then. And
Yeah.
people don't nowadays, you'll see people with blue hair, they might get teased. But I mean, back then it was really big. It was like, dude, you were
Is
bucking the
this
trend.
kind of what got you into punk?
Well, no, yeah. When I
When
got
you
into
started to
punk,
listen to punk
when
at
I
that
started,
time?
yeah, well, the thing about it was so different than everything else that was out at the time. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
had all these like, blues rock stuff. Aerosmith was all coked out. You had like
Okay.
UFO and Robin Trower. AC/DC was all right, but it was like it was slow and kind of like, yeah, kind of anthemy rock. And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden you hear this stuff like the Sex Pistols and like the Ramones, and then the local hardcore bands like Black Flag and TSOL and Circle Jerks. And it was like there was this energy that was like had been missing in music for so long.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're just like
It had
it
balls.
yeah, and it energized you. You'd like listen to it, you
Seven
wanted.
seconds, man.
Yep,
Oh,
7 seconds. I have
God, I
a
love them.
friend of mine who actually recorded with Kevin Seconds,
Ah.
did some stuff for was in a band. My old singer from that band,
Huh.
my first punk band was called XIIX. Um, from that band,
Ooh,
Manny Dunn
catchy.
was our singer. And he, after I disbanded that band and I started an electronic project, he went on to with Tony Brommel from a band called the Reactors.
Okay.
Um, and they started a band called The Sins. And I guess Kevin
Uh,
Seconds did some work with them, and they were on his label. They did a single with him and stuff. So yeah.
Wow,
But
that's
yeah, no,
awesome.
it was there's the times back then in that scene was pretty intense. But then when I got into electronic and industrial music, I kind of was like more composing. I was coming up with all these more advanced ideas, stuff you just couldn't do in punk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Punk, you had to have the energy, you had to have the power. And, if you start playing around with electronics, unless you're like Atari Teenage Riot or something where you're, doing this bombastic kind of industrial or techno
Gotcha.
music, you're kind of getting out into a little bit different area of composition. So that's kind of what happened as I matured. But Killswitch
Gotcha.
Click pulls from the punk rock stuff. A lot of people called it stompy because it
Yeah.
was very
Oh
really
yeah,
heavy,
yeah.
really punchy and beat oriented. And I didn't want to be like anybody else, but you obviously have influences that creep in. That's just part of the gig,
Yeah,
when
it
you're
was really raw sound.
right.
Yeah,
And we went,
which is something I love because I love
thank you.
writing goth rock
Yeah, yeah,
myself,
yeah, yeah.
and I also love to write all kinds of other music
Right, right,
because you got to be versatile, man.
right, right.
Versatility. Yeah.
Well, and why not? I mean, you can grab
Yeah,
whatever you
definitely,
want, influence wise. You
exactly,
grab what you want, you know.
definitely.
Yeah, so
I
that's
did.
kind of go ahead.
Go ahead. No, no, you go ahead, buddy. It's your time.
Yeah, so that's kind of where the Killswitch Click came from, tone wise. A lot of punk, a little bit of goth, the
Yeah.
kind of flowy stuff, a lot of electronic nuances thrown in. But I think really it was mostly the punch and the drums, and then having Mike, my drummer at the time, play on
Mm.
top of the drum machines live. It was insane. It
Mm.
was really intense.
That'd be
And we had
magical.
people who on our first US tour, we played in Sacramento at this huge hall. And we had people who literally drove all the way from Sacramento to our last show in San Diego because it was a West Coast tour just to see us again. And we heard a lot of people saying stuff like we were the greatest band they'd ever seen, which is it's cool. It makes you feel good, but you're like, oh yeah, really? You're just talking about, it's how you feel in the
Yeah.
moment. But it still makes you feel good that you're connecting with people and that kind of thing. But
Well, you're definitely up there as one of the greatest industrial bands of our time. So,
I think
that's
uh,
definitely something we can agree on.
we tried, we
Yeah,
tried. I mean,
it's
I
awesome,
like what
man.
we did, but it's sometimes you
Can't
get
have a mix without you guys in it.
there you
You
go. Thank you.
know.
But we tried, I
Damn
think
it.
given up when I stopped doing KSK in 97, I mean, as far as live shows go,
Yeah.
I had a little bit of a nervous breakdown and I had a new baby daughter that was born.
Mm,
And Mike, my drummer,
bless
had
you.
quit. Well, thank you. He had quit the band, and he was because he worked for Boeing, and he had a
Yeah.
job opportunity he had to take, and I just couldn't find a fit for what he did.
Yeah.
And I thought, I can't go out on tour anymore. And so I started my record label and then started getting into film and video. And that was like the next phase of what I started doing. So making movies and stuff. And it was just really a passion of mine. Then I could
Really
do
making movies.
yeah, I have two feature films out. Both have distribution. Made my money back on both. Hot Rod Girls Save the World, which was my first feature film. Um, it came out on DVD. We had a lot of screenings, a lot of big shows,
Wow.
screenings here in Seattle and around. And then it was like a hot rod movie, and it was like if David
Yeah.
Lynch made a hot rod movie. And yeah, it did well, but it was my first attempt at making a film. Took 5 years from filming to getting it out. And
Wow.
but I put in about $10,000-15,000 in it and made all
Yeah.
that back plus some profit, and it's still out there. So, and then this follow-up was called Rat Rod Rockers, and that one came out and did well as well. Mostly the DVD sales. Back then, you could really make a lot of money on the DVD sales.
Yeah.
We'd play car shows, or we go to car shows and have a vendor booth, and I'd sell like $2,000-3,000 in DVDs every time. And so you'd make your money back quick. Nowadays, you have to hope for streaming. My stuff's on Amazon, and I have a couple other sites that host it that pay me for it. But it's a whole different world, man. I miss the DVDs and Blu-rays, honestly.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I
Yeah.
did not know that about you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good job, man.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
happy for you.
well, thanks. It's, and then from that, I went to do the TV show. It's called Go Custom TV, and that's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
That was kind of mostly I would just go to car shows, rockabilly, psychobilly type events,
Yeah.
interview people, film bands. And we were on public access in Seattle for 4 years. And then we basically went to Amazon Prime. And season 6, part of that is up on Amazon. But, it's one of those things that sometimes I feel like I put too many, I'm trying to do too many different things. So I'm kind of refocusing on music again right now.
Okay. Or like some KSK type of stuff, or
Well, the new
you talking about a new project?
Yeah, the new project's called Sci-Fi Republic. It's more like Gary
Okay.
Newman, David Bowie. We have another song that's
Oh,
going to drop in a couple days. Contaminate, which is the song we just released a couple months ago. We did a video for that, music video for that. It's been doing well. But I'm just trying to build up the back catalog and get some videos done and then see what happens with it, how people, if they like it or don't, and then if it takes off or not.
so what's your plans with this project? Like,
Well,
do you plan on just doing it for albums, or do you plan on doing live, or?
well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, the idea was to have
You gotta admit, you miss the fans, right?
I do. I miss talking to people after shows and hanging out and just the energy, but it's a lot of work keeping a band together. It's a lot of work going out on the road. Um, so initially, Sci-Fi Republic we're doing music videos, short films,
Okay.
and if we can get enough interest in the project, we may take it out on the road as like a multimedia show, which would be like film and
Yeah.
live music type of deal. So it'd
That'd
be
be
like a
awesome.
live, kind of like almost like a ravey kind of thing where you see something going on video
Of course.
wise, and then have the music playing live. Yeah. So
Yeah,
we've
that'd be
talked
good
about
too.
it. My I have a singer, Jennifer Humphreys. She's the secondary singer, and then Goldie Sinclair. She also sings and plays keyboards. So yeah,
Oh,
we're
that's
kind of doing
great.
like a retro. We call it Ray Gun Goth. It's kind of like a science fiction
Mm.
goth thing.
Oh,
Definitely David Bowie, Space Oddity era mixed with like early Gary Newman, the whole Android thing.
oh,
So
that's so
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Totally,
So
totally different then.
yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
yeah. Well,
that's awesome.
the last single called Contaminate, which we just put out a couple months ago, was actually kind of a leftover Killswitch Click song. So it does. You can see the lineage between Killswitch Click and Sci-Fi Republic. You can kind of see the thread.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to go back and do some more angrier Killswitch Click tracks. I've talked to some people, and probably end of this year, early next year, I want to put out some more KSK stuff. So yeah,
Oh, that'll be awesome.
yeah, we'll see.
Some like hate department type of stuff, you talk about like
Yeah, Yeah,
just
a
a little
little bit.
more aggressive.
Yeah, yeah. Well, a little bit more, probably more Front 242, Nitzareb
Ah,
than Hate Department, but yeah, kind of more like that. And then we'll
okay,
see. We'll see what happens. I've got
sweet.
so many songs that are half written. I actually started a couple weeks ago taking some out of one pile and putting them into the KSK pile to work them up. So we'll see.
Yeah, you have some songs that you've been having a hard time trying to get it out of
This,
your head. You know, you have
well,
may have it on paper a little bit, but is it
yeah.
kind of hard to get some of those songs that have just loops and all this stuff going on in your head?
Sometimes.
Keep
Well,
that
the thing is,
organized.
I use Reason 12 right now. I've been using Reason for about
Okay.
to record as my DAW on my DAW for probably 20 years, 18 years. So I have tons of files where I'll start something, set it aside, I'll put it in a folder for, oh, this could be for this could be for that. So but this last song, We Look Like You, which is coming out in the next week or so, just got it back from the mastering house, really happy with that. It's very long, kind of slower, has a Gary Newman vibe, big time Gary Newman vibe, but I sing
I
it
love
more.
Gary Newman. Yeah,
Oh man,
definitely.
he's I'm huge.
Hybrid.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah, I was lucky. I
ah,
got to remix one of his tracks for Cleopatra for the album they did of his. And when Cleopatra Records asked me to redo the remix, I thought it was like a tribute album. I didn't realize it
yeah.
was actually Gary Newman's tracks. We were going to be. I thought they were like you remix these
Oh,
cover
how
tracks.
funny.
So I get the digital audio tape in the mail, and I put it in the deck, and I push play, and it's Gary Newman's vocals isolated, just his vocals. I'm like, this is fucking Gary Newman. This is like, and he's like one of my heroes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Uh,
he
when I saw
definitely
him on
is.
Saturday Night Live in whatever year that was, 70 something, 77, 78, total life-changing thing for me. And I'm like listening to this, like, holy shit. And so it was kind of really cool getting to remix and actually getting paid to release, one of your
To do it
heroes'
for your
tracks.
hero. Oh God.
Exactly, exactly. And then
Oh
I got to
wow.
meet his dad. His dad was his manager at the time.
Uh,
And the first track I did, I sent it to
wow.
Cleopatra, and they said, "Oh, we want something a little bit slower, a little bit less stompy, little bit less." So I said, "Okay, cool." So I submitted the second track. They approved it, and I had this track. The first one I didn't do anything with. So I contacted Gary Newman's dad, who was also his manager, and I said, "Hey, do you guys want this track? I mean, it's not going to get used for anything." And he says, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Send it to us, and we'd really like to use it, or at least have it for the archive." And da 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 da. And I said, "Cool." So I sent it over to him, and yeah, I don't know if they ever did anything with it, but he has it now, so it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
buddy of mine lives right next door to Gary Newman.
Oh, right on, down in LA.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That La La
It's
Land
his
movie is
neighbor
so cool.
for was that Black Angel,
Oh,
the
right on,
band
right on,
Black Angel.
right on. Very
His
cool.
band Vowels.
Right
Yeah,
on,
he's
right
a
on,
good guy, good guy.
right on.
So, what would you like to say to your fans out there for KSK?
Gonna have some more music coming, and I'm working on some of the archive stuff for KSK. Yeah, so we'll I'm going through some of the older tracks. I might do some remix. I actually talked to another artist about remixing some of the earlier KSK stuff that never got remixed, like Follow Me and some of the stuff that was really
That
popular,
was just in my
or
head
Go
right
Man Go.
now. I was
Yeah.
just singing that song. I
Well,
love it.
that's their most popular songs are Follow Me, Go Man Go,
Oh,
Decanonize. Those are all like, songs that did really well on independent radio back in the day.
yep.
Our biggest song on Spotify is actually a song that I wrote before I was doing Kill Switch Click,
Ooh.
down in San Bernardino on a 4-track. And when I was putting together, I think it was the Degenerate album, which is the third album on KSK, I thought, okay, I needed some extra tracks, and I had this track and I threw it on there.
Mm.
And then later, Cleopatra put it on a compilation, BDSM compilation, and it's got like 30, 40,000 plays. It's just like continues to get bigger and bigger. It's like, why this song? It's very slow. There's no drums, but you never know what people are going to like. It's like one of
Yeah,
those things.
exactly. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, but also, how people are. We become fans.
Right.
When we're fans, we're pretty die hard. We like there's a Cure song. I love the Cure,
Oh yeah. Big
and
time.
they have a song off of one of their albums, Carnage Visors. It's
Yeah.
called.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a 25-minute song of
Yep.
do 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 do
Yep.
do. You know what I'm talking about? I mean,
Yeah,
I
big
can
time.
still listen to that full on, man, the whole
Yep,
time.
yep.
Is that it's just that's what what can I say? No
That's it.
vocals in it, no nothing. It's just yeah, a
Yep.
little bit of
That,
travel.
that's the thing is when you love a band, you're a little bit more open to some of their experimentation, and I
Exactly.
think
That's what I'm
that's
trying to get at.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it definitely is. I've been fortunate enough and with Killswitch Click that we got an early record deal and we got a strong fan base, and even after not playing live shows, we still have people that love the music and listen to it, and I get
Do
emails
you,
and
do you
stuff
miss
every.
the live?
I do sometimes. Like I said, it's like I miss the energy of the people. I miss getting out there and doing it.
You
But
don't miss the headache about
oh,
getting it
the
set
band,
up.
oh, the band stuff is just, you got politics, you know what I mean? Even in my type of project where it was like pretty much me writing all this stuff and
Yeah.
then, having Mike add drums to it and then adding a bass player later, um, it became like all these weird political things within, the guys just, arguments or whatever. And then
Hmm.
it's like you're always trying to put out fires and it's like, why do people have to be so complicated?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that kind of is a pain in the ass, but it is what it is.
Hmm.
Humans do what they do, and they like to fight, and they like to kind of test their boundaries, and that's what we do.
Yeah, it is. So is it what are you excited about? I mean, you have other people that are former KSK that are going to be involved with this with you, or are they all new people?
Well, the new with Sci-Fi Republic, it's new people. As far as that goes,
Sci-Fi Republic. I gotta remember
that's
that.
yeah, sci-fi. And I know it's a kind of a weird name, but I was trying to think of a name, and it
Not
just
bad.
came up, and I was thinking of, I don't even remember, something about Star Wars was on. They're talking about the Republic, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. And so it just came, and I wrote it down. I thought, oh, I'll go with that, and I
You're
put
a
a
big
K at
Star
the
Wars
end.
fan?
Oh, huge, huge.
Yeah, me
Changed my
too.
life
Okay, yeah,
I
definitely
saw
me
the
too.
movie in the theaters when I was in seventh grade. It was just like, whoa. But pretty much my whole adult life, Star
Oh,
Wars has been in the background.
it's all in my head. I
Yeah,
don't even need to put it on. I can
yeah.
just watch it in my head, the whole thing.
I know, it's like you've seen it so many times. It's like
It's
you got a whole section of your brain that's just like Star Wars. But yeah, it's kind of like, so when I was putting the thing together, I wanted to do something that had that kind of, like I said, ray gun goth, kind of
okay.
like
Yeah,
ray gun. I mean, well, here, I'll show
I'm
you.
really trying to
This
imagine
is
it.
this is a space helmet. I don't know if you can see this. This
Yeah,
is
that's awesome.
this is one of the props that I made for it's actually a real sized space helmet with a bubble and all that on there. It comes
That's a
apart.
good shit.
It has fans in there for cooling.
That's
But
awesome.
we're shooting the new music video this August, September,
Yeah,
and I've got, besides the gals that are in the band, I've got other actors that are going to be helping with it and putting this whole thing together. So it should be cool. The last music video was about, it was called Contaminate You, and it's very it was kind of, I dedicated the song to my mom who died of COVID in 2022.
ah man,
And
bless her. So sorry.
yeah, yeah, it was, well, she had
Damn.
health issues, and I had a family member who came to visit, didn't mask up, and he gave it to her, and she passed away 5 days later. But just that affected me, and I had been working on this song, and then I just decided to change the lyrics around a little bit, and
Yeah.
yeah. But the song is kind of it's a science fiction-y kind of song about a what if, if COVID type disease had been worse, more like a major pandemic.
Yeah.
But in like an alternative timeline. But yeah, that song's been doing really well, and people really seem to like it a lot. So we'll see. Very heavy duty on the bottom end. Um, it has a little bit of that Nitzareb kind of vibe,
Yeah.
and a lot of the old Killswitch Click sound to it too. At least that's what, except for the remixes. I've had 3 people do remixes of that song, and each one of the remixers brings a whole new vibe to it. So yeah.
What's some of your favorite tracks to perform live for
Back in the day,
KSK? Yeah.
man, geez. Follow Me was cool because I played the slam bar, which is an instrument that I built. It was kind of like a big, I used 2 screwdrivers, and it was basically like a big lap steel. I
Yeah.
used bass pieces to put it together, and then custom cut the wood, and I just bang on these strings with screwdrivers. And I would bar kind of like with a lap steel when you use you bar the strings, but I use a
Yeah.
screwdriver to do that with my left hand and then bang it with my right hand. But that song was really had a lot of slam bar in it, had a goth vibe to it. Um, Go Man Go was a lot of fun because it was it just had that really heavy duty beat.
Yeah.
And when it would kick in, it was just like always fun. And you'd see the crowd just start bouncing. As soon as that song would hit, I mean, like the whole front end of the stage would just be like people bouncing up and down in time to the music because they knew that song. Sometimes the newer songs, when we would play them, people hadn't heard them. It was kind of fun just seeing the reaction.
Yeah.
But I think Go Man Go and Follow Me are still two of my favorite songs that we did live, just because just the whole vibe of Go Man Go is so bombastic and it's just like so in your face.
Yeah.
And it's an anti-terrorism song that came out decades before 9/11. So I think I basically wrote it about what was going on in Ireland, you know what I mean, and the whole IRA and
Yeah.
them blowing up people randomly and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so but yeah, it was definitely fun to play back then.
If there was something that you would like to change about the music industry,
Right.
what would you like to change?
Right now, I just, I kind of like where it's at right now, but I mean, I mean, I'm doing what I want to do. Okay. And it's a good time for independent artists, for independent record labels. I have a new
Mhm.
imprint called Artifact Tapes, which is a
Okay.
cassette only record label that I've started. We have some releases
I
scheduled for
love
the end of it.
cassettes.
Yeah. Well, cassettes were how Killswitch Click started. I mean, and
They're sick.
yeah, no, it's like I actually went out and bought a brand new cassette deck last year for mastering and talked to a couple houses
Good
about
for you, man.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
But so the thing is with Killswitch Click, I mean, what gave me the idea was I saw one of our old cassettes, one of the old KSK demos,
Yeah.
going for like $50 on
Whoa.
eBay. And I'm like, for an old cassette. And I'm like thinking, you know what? And so then I started looking into it more. And I thought, I should, this is about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I found out about Sacred Tapes, who's a really cool underground label out in Manchester, England. They do ambient and hard edge electronica music only on
Yeah.
cassette, only on cassette.
Huh.
You can listen to them streaming on what
I
on I
do.
can't remember the platform. It wasn't it's not Spotify, but whatever. They have like one place that you can listen to it download wise or stream it,
Yeah.
and then the cassette. That's all you can do. So I started thinking I should kind of do something like that and get back into where I used to be, and that's kind of what happened. So Artifact Tapes is that imprint, and we're going to be releasing stuff here shortly. Yeah.
That's awesome. So movie wise, do you have stuff coming out
No, I'm kind of
like
with the
that?
Sci-Fi Republic. We're doing the short films and the music
Yeah.
videos, and I want to get a couple more of those done. And I do have a screenplay that I've been working on, but
Yeah.
I find that I spread myself too thin. And right now, my primary function and focus has been Sci-Fi Republic.
Okay.
So yeah,
So you have any shows set for Sci-Fi Republic?
not right now. We've
Oh,
talked
I said it
about
right. I said it right.
yeah, yeah, Sci-Fi Republic. We've talked about like if people get into the band more and there's a need for it, then we'll
Okay.
probably start doing some showcases or something.
Can
You know.
they find you on Facebook or
Oh yeah, yeah,
Instagram
yeah,
or anything like
yeah.
that?
If you go to the main Sci-Fi Republic has its own website.
Yeah.
That's all
Nice.
interconnected. Yeah, I hear you. It's getting hotter out here too, so I get a little bit been drinking the coffee all day, like iced coffee. But yeah, Sci-Fi Republic has its own website and all the social media. But
Okay.
yeah, the Artifact has its own website. So yeah, in the
And,
main links
how many albums? One only one album, right? For
on
Sci-Fi Republic,
right now it's just singles. We have
it's a
I think
singles. Okay, my
five or
apologies.
six singles out. One
Okay.
one single's like four different versions of remix. New song
Okay.
dropping in the next couple days, and then there's another one scheduled to go to the mastering house in a couple weeks.
Okay.
But
Brilliant.
yeah, yeah,
Well, wonderful, man. That's awesome.
yeah, yeah.
So, anybody you'd like to thank for your success for KSK and for
Well,
Sci-Fi Republic?
Killswitch Click, man. I mean, I really owe Brian Pereira and Cleopatra Records. Those guys were
Yeah.
really, really. I mean, some people um, know about Cleopatra Records, some people don't. They've always been awesome to
Oh,
us.
They're
And they've
amazing.
always been, they gave us money for touring, they gave us money to record. For a smaller independent label, or mid-level label, they were always awesome. And I really have to say, without their help at that point, we may not have gotten to the level we did, but it is, I think them, and then obviously the people that were in the band, Mike Ditmore, who's my drummer for like 7 years, he definitely did it. And the last Jeremy Moss, who was our bass player towards the last time, really helped a lot. I mean, he kept the whole bottom end going, and on the second US tour he was pretty instrumental in the whole thing. But yeah, mostly it's Sci-Fi Republic. I mean, it's too early to tell on that. We're just getting that one started. I mean, we officially started recording in 2020, but then with COVID and all the other crap that happened, it's like everything was on hold for like 3 years. You know what I mean? And then I had some deaths in the family. My son passed away and my mom passed away both in 2022. And I traveled all around the country. I've been kind of in a weird state that way, but making music helps me heal and gets me back to where I need to be. And that's why
that's the joy about music right there, man. See,
Yep.
even talking with you, it gives me a little bit of healing, We're keeping this alive, man. We're
Right.
keeping this
Exactly.
stuff that brought me joy, brought me peace. I
Mhm.
mean, I would close my eyes for hours and just dance in one spot.
Yep.
Up to your music and to
Thank you.
KMFDM and all that good
Oh yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, nonstop. I love it. I love you. I
Thank you.
thank you for this time and
Oh,
for
definitely.
taking
Thank you
time
for
to
having me.
talk. And you're not dead, man. You guys are
Not
freaking.
yet.
You know,
I
it's
just
I
I just
couldn't
turned
say
60, so
Punk's not dead, but
no, not at all, man.
but
Yeah.
definitely I love you, man, and
Right on.
just thank you, and I look
Yeah.
forward to hearing more about your Sci-Fi Republic,
Right on.
and then if you want to do a little talk about that sometime, we can do that also.
Yeah, right on.
Do a
Once we get a
little
little bit more
promo.
done. Yeah,
Yeah, you
definitely.
know it.
Definitely.
Well, bless you,
Right.
and
Thank you, man.
thank you very much. And so sorry for your loss, and
It's okay. I
my
mean,
condolences. Yeah, I got a wife and a son that I can't imagine not living without.
yeah, no, I hear
25
you.
years with my baby girl, so
Oh man,
I love her very
congratulations.
much.
That's awesome.
So, well, bless
Cool.
you. Take care of yourself, and I
Thank you,
will
man.
talk to you soon.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Bye.
More Rockless Cock on the Rooster Show.
The devil is hurling beautiful boys out of windows. Something diabolical. Something diabolical. Something diabolical. Something diabolical. girl seeking intercourse with the devil.